gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @2SweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi. And joining me this evening is my good friend, Ian Garavaglia, the full-time part-timer. What's up, dog?
What's up, dog? I am, as we had talked about before the show, I am very, very tired. I had a really fun concert last night.
Tell us about your night, yeah.
Yeah, for those that don't know, or for those that do, I appreciate you. But the band Disturbed, heavy metal band, got popular, Down with the Sickness, probably have heard of it. My favorite band of all time. At one point, there was a concert near me that I had to miss because it was 21 and up, like, venue. So I missed out on that, and now I finally had the chance to go. Last second, it turned out well, and very good concert. Would highly recommend seeing them.
And I would say this, as somebody that's gone to one concert with Ian, he's a fun guy to go to a concert with. So if there's any single women in the Indianapolis area watching right now, this guy is single, ready to mingle, and he will buy you concert tickets. I heard him say it himself. Ooh. No? No?
No, probably pass on that one.
You need more money, don't you?
Yeah. You could buy the first round of tickets, but we'll get there.
I was going to say, if you need money, you can help us out, guys, and get Ian some dates here. Go to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. I was going to say something else, but I filtered myself. We got a lot of great merch. You see these hats we're wearing? Brand new on the shop. Go ahead and check it out. You see that tapestry? You see that hoodie Ian's wearing? All good stuff. Not just OTM, but the Main Event Wrestling Network as well, right, Ian?
Yeah, Main Event Wrestling Network, you got your Poppin' Large shirt as well. If you want to cross that bridge, you could either get the Poppin' Large shirt in the OTM style or the Main Event style. So whatever you want to rep, if you don't like us, but you like the rest of the people Main Event, like I do, then you could do that and rep a Poppin' Large shirt.
Yeah, not a lot of people in the network are buying network stuff, which is very selfish of you guys, by the way. I'm just kidding. But we do have some great retro Main Event Wrestling Network stuff on there, so definitely go check it out. Kind's in the house, though. He said, what a coincidence. He just happened to stumble upon this amazing podcast this evening. You know what? I say it all the time, Ian. We give Kind shit, but the fact that he stays up as late as he does, and he's in here most days, it really is impressive.
He's a trooper. And he followed me on Instagram, and so I will be a part of his life on Instagram now, and I will stalk you for the rest of your life, Kind.
Well, there you go. You got a friend for life, Ian and Kind. Who would have thought? Eric's ready to talk about AEW. He's just firing off in the comment section already. Eric, thanks for stopping by, my friend. Always good to see you as well in the chat. And whoa, a ghost in the chat. The podcast dad is here. Dad? Ian, do you want to say hi to your dad?
No, I don't really want to. He was really mean to me in our Main Event mixer.
Well, you might want to get used to it because I think we have a lot of Main Event mixers coming up next weekend. Hashtag Main Event moves going down, as you can see here on the graphic. Not one, Ian. Not two. But 3 Main Event mixers coming your way next weekend for WrestleMania. So make sure you're following us at Main Event _net. That's where you're going to see all this stuff going down, because on Friday, we're going to be talking about NXT Stand and Deliver. I believe, Ian, you agreed to be a part of that show, correct? Friday?
No.
I have you down for Friday, so that's what you told me.
That would be incorrect, and if I did say that, it was probably because I didn't realize it was a Stand and Deliver. I am not up to date at NXT, so it'll be a Saturday appearance for me.
And it might not be a Saturday appearance because I might be coming down to visit you next weekend. We're still TBD on that, so maybe you'll see Ian, maybe you won't.
We'll come to my place. We'll do a dual recording. You sit right next to me, and we'll both do the show.
That is
right next to him. Yeah.
That is true. You are close to our good friend Brett Haskell. But if you want to check out all the other main event content going on next week, here is the schedule. Look at that. All the main event moves happening, Ian. Can you believe it?
Yeah, do you see my reactions over here? I'm putting in some good thumbnail faces over here. Oh, there it goes. It's gone now. Now it's awkward.
This isn't a shot to Tino because he does that all the time for his thumbnails. I love it, but you just reminded me of Tino right there.
It's the YouTuber thing. YouTubers need to. They got to have that.
That's true. We're not YouTubers, but, we could be if you guys hit that subscribe button, because we are on the road to 500 subscribers. It's crazy, and we're at 422 right now. Not bad.
Yeah, I want to say like a year ago, we were under 300.
Yeah.
I want to say. So,
we were.
Yeah. And we have a little bit of a giveaway going on once we hit 500. Am I correct?
That's right. What did Tuck say he was going to do? Was it Kurt Angle?
Kurt Angle figure. Thank you.
Ooh, okay. And Eric, you need to answer this question for Eric. He goes, who is Disturbed?
Disturbed, if you've heard the song Down with the Sickness, it was an old song, but they're kind of like, if you ever Avenged Sevenfold-ish, kind of in that territory of like hard rock, heavy metal.
They're Stricken, right? That's another one of their songs?
Yeah. Wow, what a shout. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to AO. That was his very first entrance song.
Yeah,
that's why I knew
true.
that. That's a deep cut right there. Don't say the name of the federation, by the way.
Nope, we will not be doing that. Also, Podcast Dad did say the band Ghost, another band. I think he said there's a concert coming around here. Tickets are expensive. I will not be going to Ghost.
Oh, but we will be going to Cincinnati very soon because Pro Wrestling Ventures is going to be running a show out there. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but I can confirm that the week of Pro Wrestling Ventures' next show happening in Cincinnati, we once again will be joined by Steve, the man that runs things over there. So can't wait to dive into that conversation with him. And look who's in the house once again, another man making moves. It is Dirk Vogus.
Well, anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk Van Fleet.
Never gets old. Shout out to CVV, by the way. He's been, dude, have you got a chance to check out his interview with Kevin Owens?
I have not yet. That'll be my listen for tomorrow. Shout out my action figure of him as well.
Oh, that's right. He is back.
One day it will be signed.
I love that. Hey, Eric's going to Vegas for WrestleMania. Let's go, Eric. Have a blast. That is awesome. And to answer your question, no, I don't think Rhea's back on the Judgment Day. Just because she wore black stuff doesn't mean she's a part of a faction. I just think that was her wardrobe for Monday Night Raw. And Kind says, I don't think you will. But are you going to go to Blink 182?
No.
That was before your time, wasn't it?
No, it was my time. I'm not a Blink 182 guy. There's a couple songs by him, but like, eh.
Yeah, Kind said he wishes he could be American. That's debatable at this point, I guess. But he is right. We do have a lot of culture here.
I was going to say, hold on. We'll get to the actual wrestling thing here. But Kind said you've got the best bands and the best festivals. No, every festival is in Europe nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oktoberfest is in Germany. I would love to go to that. There seems like there's so much other cool things happening elsewhere. So, yeah, you don't have it that bad, Kind. Great Brown Hope, I am also a 90s kid. Blink ain't all that, though. I don't agree with you on the back half of that one.
Not all that.
Adam Pierce said, representing the Judgment Day. Really? That might have been a botch. I must have missed that. I think that might have been a botch. That really wouldn't make much sense. But Eric's ready to talk wrestling. I'm ready to talk wrestling. Ian, what about you?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go to AEW Dynasty that happened this past Sunday. Did you get a chance to watch this live? I don't even know if I knew if you were watching live. Were you?
Yeah, I was watching live.
Did you watch in its entirety too?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow. Okay, so good for you because Gags over here fell asleep before the main event. I was getting a little old, but let's start off with what the match that kicked off AEW Dynasty, and it was an Owen Hart qualifier, not a qualifier, a quarterfinal match, I should say, between the Billy Goat, Will Ospreay, and Kevin Knight, who made his pay-per-view debut. Ian, we don't know too much about Kevin Knight, but we've now seen him, I believe, twice. Once on Dynamite, here on Dynasty. And man, you talk about a way to start hot. That's exactly what this match did at AEW Dynasty.
Yeah, this is one of those talents that Tony's bringing in with Kevin Knight that's it's been told like how good they are. Obviously, if you watch New Japan and you watched him in the dojo, you already know how good he is. But I predicted, it was a strong prediction, and I got a lot of hate for it, that he could upset and would upset against Will Ospreay. Did not happen. Although there were some really good close
Near
falls
falls.
that
Yeah.
I genuinely thought it was happening. But no, this match was incredible, and it's nice to see kind of Will Ospreay being that stepping stone, kind of almost where Kenny Omega was at.
Kind
when
of a
AEW
veteran.
first started. Yeah, which is really cool to see. And Will Ospreay's still super young, so just building that roster, it just keeps getting more stacked. But there's only so much room for top tier talent. So also worrisome, but it seems like they have the right steam behind them so far.
Oh, for sure. I think there's no better way to present him than having his first pay-per-view match be against Will Ospreay, similar to Speedball's first match being against Kenny Omega. You can't do no wrong there. And I think we even mentioned on the main event mixer that we did before this show that this would be a great candidate to kick off the show. And I believe you even saw my tweet. Oh, surprise, another great Will Ospreay match on a pay-per-view. It's getting boring to a point where I know every time Will Ospreay has a match, I'm going to be like, holy shit, what the fuck is this guy capable of? Like, that's how good the man is. And some people are going to hate on him. And sure, maybe, Ian, you can make the criticism that this match was too fast-paced. They didn't really let things breathe, but still, it was fun. And I think that's what it was intended to be.
I mean, if you're making the points while watching AEW matches that it's too fast paced, dude, it's been like this for a long time. AEW has its own style now, and I think even WWE is starting to incorporate it as well. That fast paced style. NXT was always kind of known for that, and now it's a lot of ex NXT, kind of that NXT Gold era,
Black and gold,
tag
yeah.
teams, yeah. And now that I think that style is kind of becoming more widely accepted, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's okay for wrestling companies to have different styles. I think that's what makes pro wrestling great, is not everything has to be by the book, not everything has to be done like WWE, and I think a lot of people should probably view pro wrestling in a different lens and just try to accept things for what they are instead of just blatantly hating all the time, which could go down another rant that I don't want to get into, but I'm very curious on who's Vogus saying F that guy to? Oh, he's talking about Kevin Knight because he tripped on my chair at BLP and he almost beat his ass.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
We need to get that into a clip.
Oh, I could. You know what? If you can go on a big monologue about some of these matches, I could maybe.
Okay, yeah, work it in.
Maybe show it if I have the
way.
time. No, fair enough. Eric said I got my YouTube music rap, and apparently I finally hit my emo phase 20 years late. Hey, that happens, right?
It comes in strides. My emo phase is usually like around. It's the summertime. Windows down, blast some emo rock.
That's when you go emo?
Oh yeah, good vibes.
I think it would be. I thought it would be the winter, but all right. Kind says Will should eventually come to WWE. Kenny Omega missed the train. Will still has a chance in his future. I get his reasoning, but man, WrestleMania is the peak. I'd hate for Will to miss it. Listen, Ian, I get this. I kind of agree with him. I would like to see Will Ospreay in the WWE at some point, but at the same time, some guys just really aren't built for that style. And I don't think Will Ospreay really wants to go, at least not now. He doesn't want to go to the WWE. What do you think?
I would agree. You could kind of point a little bit towards Penta as well. He's already had to change his style a little bit. Sure, he's brought some stuff in that he did on the indies and in AEW in the tag team scene. Kind of like the signature stuff, but it's a lot slower pace. It's not the holy shit Penta. I mean, again, this is not a diss, but on the normal like WWE crowd, yes, that is absolutely insane. It's super fast paced, but people that have seen him in the past do know that he could go a couple gears faster and a couple gears quicker. So, yes, but I don't think it's going to happen for a long time. If AEW stays relevant, stays alive, I don't see a reason for Will to leave, especially if they keep giving him money. The only time he would dip would be like, okay, there's literally nothing else for me to do here.
Sure.
And WWE just offered me a bag. That would be the only reason I would see it. Kind of like a MLB kind of contract
free agency situation. No, I get it. And it's interesting. The podcast ad says no WWE for Osprey, please. I feel like most fans would be definitely accepting of Will, but then I look at the other side of the coin. I dive deep sometimes into IWC just to see the dumbasses there. There's a lot of just like those WWE only stands, the AEW only stands, and a lot of people that are just WWE fans are like, oh, Will Ospreay can't handle the grind. That's not what this is all about. Everybody just wants to make it a rivalry when it really isn't. But
it's not.
Regardless, I think eventually, sure, Eric Ospreay could make his way over to WWE. Oh, it was Kine that said that. Sorry, Kine, you're the one that commented that. Eric goes on to say Kevin Knight and Christian are both insanely talented for their age. Yes, they definitely are, because Kevin Knight, Ian, is only 28, and I believe Christian's in his late 40s, so very impressive, respectfully. Do you watch MLW? Occasionally I do, but not weekly. Ian,
no.
Yeah, fair
Too much
enough.
wrestling for me.
And that's a good point from the podcast that he said, I want AEW to stay around and give people chances like Ricochet. Yeah.
Tony Storm. Tony Storm is still the best
Swerve.
ever to come from. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Swerve and Tony Storm are the pinnacle of transitioning over and taking that opportunity. But yeah, absolutely. Ricochet, too.
One last thing before we move on to the next match. Kine says Will's main reason was AEW is flexible, so he's able to see his family and be with his kid. That's more important than money. Real wealth is within life. Yeah, that couldn't have said it better myself, Kine. You got to respect that decision for sure. And Mox, yeah, of course, yeah. Moxley. It's gotten to the point, though, with Moxley, like, I don't even
He's an
think
AEW guy.
Yeah, I don't think of Dean Ambrose anymore.
I think of Dean Ambrose and I think of John Moxley. Like, two different people. Which is
think
a
of the
really
Shield.
smart thing to do.
I think of just the Shield and John Moxley, because Dean Ambrose by himself never worked. In
you
my
don't
opinion.
like the gas mask?
No, in my opinion, it just never worked. He was WWE champion, but yeah, really enjoying what he's doing more in AEW than what he did in the WWE. But let's move on here to something that happened. I personally didn't see coming. You did, I believe, because it was mentioned on the main event mixer. After the match where the Death Riders successfully retained their trios titles, it looked like it was just, why am I blanking? Dax, who was going to hit Cope with the chair. But no, it wasn't just Dax, because they hit their finishing move on Cope, and then Cash hit the concerto on Cope and turned heel officially. And there was a lot of speculation on whether Dax and Cash were going to split, but no, it's FTR turning on Cope. So, Ian, I know I think we might have discussed this a little back and forth when it was happening live. I love this turn. Tell me how you felt about it.
It needed it. I think this trio in general needed something to change. I mean, they could still, Cope. I was a fan of just Dax turning heel at first, and now I'm a bigger fan of the entire thing just flipping switch and Cash joining him as well. I would have liked to see Dax versus Cash in a singles feud, but first, I mean, the writing on the wall is Cope and Christian reuniting. I just the thought of that, seeing them in AEW together will be incredible. I think that's the writing on the wall, obviously. And then also, if you split them two with FTR, split them, that's always going to be in the back of your mind that they have beef with one another. It's kind of one of those, because like that's a giant. I don't know. It's kind of like a New Day kicking out Big E. Big E's never joining the New Day again. I think it's pretty easy to say. So a turn like that and splitting FTR, you're never going back to FTR if you do it.
My only thing is, man, Cope just takes mini vacations due to injuries all the time. Ever since Copeland came over to AEW, I swear, he has a program for 4 months. Somebody takes him out. He'll come back in 4 months and do some cool shit, which is fair. I mean, he's a little older. I don't know exactly what his age is, but this is something at least.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, he's at that age where it's like, if he does show up, awesome, he'll have a good feud. That injury did fuck everything up for a while there, though. That was not fun. Ruined the TNT title, by the way. Spiraling effect. But, yeah, no, I think he's filming movies and everything, and if you have a guy like Copeland, you're going to have the IWC on his ass about, oh, why are we giving this guy so much time when you have, yada, yada on the roster. So I like the whole sprinkling in Cope every now and then.
Inside joke right there. Kind says FTR turning on Cope was so fun. I like the way they played it, especially with Dax and Cash seeming on different pages. Excited for the future. Is Cope going to get a partner? Yeah, like Ian said, 100%. This is just setting up the reunion of Christian and Cope. And I think there is money in nostalgia at times. Sometimes bringing back old people is not a smart move, i.e. look at Goldberg. I don't think that does anybody any good. They did that a lot recently, or not recently, but at least, in the 2010s, they seem to go to that well a lot. But I think going back to this nostalgia-ness of, Cope and Edge, we know, or Cope and Christian. God, I hate the name changes because it really fucks with you. But no, it's going to be fun. And I think the best part about this turn was Cash putting on the neck brace, going onto the stretcher and making fun of Cope. Like, man, that was just chef's kiss. And this is the real FTR. Ian, I know you talked about this. You were getting tired of the FTR that we saw consistently on TV the past couple of years. This is what we want to see.
Yeah, no, the FTR that we were seeing, I hated the, 7-star FTR. Cool. Yeah. We got good matches, but it was like the pinnacle of kind of why people can hate AEW. It's like, why am I supposed to like you? Okay, we win matches. Okay, what else?
Yeah.
We're really good. And I was tired of the whole very fake sounding hurrah, hurrah speeches that Dax would give. Or you go AEW every single week that he was giving them. So yeah, this is much needed, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll follow it up on Collision because or did you get a chance to watch Dynamite? By the way, we're not going to talk about it. I'm just curious. Okay, I don't think they were on last night, right? FTR.
Nope.
No, yeah, I didn't think so. So they probably going to follow that up on Saturday. Obviously, we're not going to see Cope, I'm assuming, for a couple weeks, but time will tell with that one. Obviously, the Death Rider is still your trios champion. Eric says, so I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw someone say Britt is a free agent. I've seen that rumor too, because
I have no clue.
She removed all AEW mentions from her socials. This is all speculation, Ian, obviously. There's no truth to this whatsoever. But if Britt Baker was a free agent, it's pretty obvious that she would probably make that jump to WWE. My question to you is, if she did make that jump to WWE, is she on the main roster right away, or do you think she gets a stint in NXT as well?
NXT. I think she has to go to NXT. I don't think she is... I mean, you kind of have to think about it. Her heydays of why she was so incredible. Again, she's very good in the ring. She's not a superstar level in the ring. She's solid, yeah. And she was still sketchy at times, and that was when the women's division was lackluster. Like, Britt was the only shining star. Her character, obviously, is awesome. Character work is incredible. It would survive in WWE. As soon as you get into that ring, though, I'm worried. So get her in NXT, get her in that PC Performance Center, and let her develop there. Because if you have the right eyes on her and you let Britt Baker develop under that, good luck, because her character's already there.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind if she went to NXT. I still think she's a big enough name and established enough from her time in AEW. And she's already technically had a stint in NXT. Of course, she wasn't signed, but she's made a few appearances before. I think she's well known enough and has that star presence that she could be impactful on the main roster. But to go to the Green Brown Hopes comment, Charlotte's never going anywhere else.
No.
Charlotte is never leaving WWE.
She would get booed out of the building.
Like she did in Chicago?
Yeah.
That's greatness hate, Ian. The people just hate on greatness. It's, it's what people like to do. Britt is straight to NXT, according to Kine. No questions. That's where she's going to either become a potential WWE star or an indie woman. I don't think she would ever become just an indie girl.
I think if she is out of AEW, there is a 20.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, in the back of my mind, I don't think Britt is all in for no pun intended, but I don't think she's completely into the whole wrestling world anymore. She's been gone a long time. She had a little stint where she returned for a little bit after injury. She's got a really good job and enjoys her job and has been very vocal about that on podcasts. If she is out of AEW, I'd give it like a 25% chance. Like, they'll get a tryout with WWE probably, obviously, And then, I don't know. I would be shocked to see her go to anywhere else if she leaves AEW.
Same. Once again, though, all speculation, just a rumor. Eric, I appreciate your comment, but it was good to talk about that a little bit. Let's go from one AEW women's star to another pair, I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying, another pair of wrestlers here. Between Toni Storm and Megan Bayne. I'll tell you what, though, Megan Bayne is a name that I think the WWE missed out on because she has this aura, this presence to her that not many female talent in AEW, let alone professional wrestling, have. And even though she lost this match to Toni Storm, Ian, I think she is a star for that women's division going forward.
And she can hold herself in the ring. Like, she is incredible. And she's been wrestling for, like, 2 years or something like that. Something really ridiculous.
Really? That's short?
Yeah. Oh, it's been, yeah. No,
Wow.
She's very, very young and very new to the industry. So
I got to see her age.
Yeah, looks like $1 million. Looks like a champion. So the sky's the limit for her. Again, the fan in me wanted her to get an upset on Toni. And actually, I got really excited as soon as Toni came out to the Rocky Balboa entrance because I thought that's exactly where they were going.
That was great. She's the best.
I genuinely thought they were going to try to play the Rocky story where Rocky gets, murdered in that one match and then comes back.
Fair.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that was a nice touch too, Eric. He said with Luther literally was just carrying Penelope outside the ring. Yeah, what did you think about the match itself? And by the way, Megan Bayne is only 26 years old, which is insane.
Yeah, I thought it did its part. It wasn't overwhelming, but at the same time, the last Toni Storm match that we saw was, literally the best ever. So
the best of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very hard to beat. But yeah, match did its part. Megan Bayne looked like $1 million coming out of the match, even after a loss. Toni Storm, she still incredible. Again, no idea who's taking that title off her. It's
got to be Mercedes, right?
Yeah,
that's got to be the match at All In. Like, you do the Athena Mercedes thing, and maybe Mercedes drops the TBS to Athena, and that creates a path for Mercedes to go right after Toni Storm.
Okay, I would like that. Yeah, I would like that. I don't want to see the TBS title and the women's title being held in the same hands.
Don't do what NXT did, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's way too much talent on that roster to have one lady hold both titles. Like, that roster's so good right now.
Eric asked, why isn't Mariah in the tournament? Probably taking some time off since she was just champion, but speaking of rumors and speculation, there was a report that this is a contract year, and a lot of people that are in the know are making it seem like Mariah is testing the waters. I don't know the validity to that. Once again, take that with a grain of salt. That's just what I am hearing, but let's go to Kind's comment. No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, I wouldn't take that as any shock, because I would hope that every single wrestler tests the waters. Again, it's exactly like the MLB, which is the only league that I actually really kind of know. Most players will test every single team. Yeah. They will throw their name in the bucket and say, throw money at me and I will figure it out. Like, even if they are pretty much 100% guaranteed to stay with the team they are currently on, they want to see how much money they can get, because that guides them to come back to their own team and say, hey, this is how much these people are offering me.
Pay up.
Yeah.
It's smart.
It's not. If that is the reason Mariah is going out there, I don't blame her at all.
See your worth. Get your money, girl. Everybody's doing it. You might as well be one of them. Kind says WWE are seeming to do the Rocky stuff with Jay and Gunther. Gunther killed Jimmy like Drago killed Adonis. Jay's going in as an underdog versus this undefeatable guy like Rocky versus Drago in Russia. Yeah, that is a very fair comparison. And then he goes on to say, and Rocky loses the first time, I think, like Jay lost to Gunther. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, Kind. Eric says, or Jamie gets her revenge for what Toni did while in the Outcast.
I was going to say, I know, but the fact that it took us a little bit to be like, what the fuck did she do? I don't like it. It's too much of a callback. Sometimes a callback is too far back.
It's too deep. It's too deep into the archives. We got to do a lot of scrolling. If it was on the Peacock app, but it's not. Yeah. It's on your HBO app, which you found out an answer to your question, right?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know who runs Pro Wrestling Ventures.
Probably Henry, Hank, whatever you want to call him.
Hank.
Yeah. Or Dom. It could have been Dom too. Who knows? But shout out to Pro Wrestling Ventures. Kite says Mariah to WWE would be awesome. I agree. I'd love to see it happen, but she's my granddad's favorite in AEW for that reason. I hope she stays in AEW.
Love it.
Hey, fair enough. He's Great Brown Hope says it's like rookie offer sheets in the pros. Bring them an offer and give them a chance to match it. Yeah, for sure. And Podcast Dad says timeless character won't get old. Love it so much.
It literally is timeless. It's amazing.
Timeless. That just reminds me of
her on commentary too is
she pops them so hard, like Shivani, whatever the fuck, Scavoni or whatever they call her. Yeah, that's what she calls him. It's fantastic. Timeless Tony Storm, and we've said it before, and I think we can agree, the best women's professional wrestler right now on the planet.
I agree.
There you go.
I am the most entertained, and I want to see her the most on my TV out of both companies.
Close number 2 for me is Io Sky. Right now.
Yeah, well, you know me. I'm not a big Io Sky guy. Like, I like her wrestling. That's about it.
I would put Rhea and Bianca in that conversation as well.
Yeah, Rhea and Bianca.
I can't even put Charlotte in there because she's not around enough. But she's still my GOAT. I will always defend her. Let's briefly talk about the booking of this one. I know not a lot of people give a shit because it was for the ROH title. But Ian, what the hell was that? Since when can family members ringside influence a referee to restart a match? How does that make sense?
This was one of the moments on the card that I was like, why the fuck did you just do that? I mean,
Makes no sense.
I liked everything going into this match. Like, give Jericho as much shit as you want, but like, the build-up was pretty fun, at least. He's entertaining, to say the least. So, I mean, we kind of everybody predicted that Bandito was going to win. I think our mixer was literally just Bandito wins.
Bandito. Right? That was our analysis.
We'll move on. Yeah. I mean, it was a fun match, and then the finish happened.
All right. The only reason I wanted to bring it up because the finish was ass. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say about that. But congrats to Bandito.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was cool. I liked it.
You know, it's something I did like, and I think it was desperately needed for AEW. Adam Cole, baby! Becoming the new TNT champion. Now, that's the title that has been rough, to say the least, the last couple years. They just really haven't found a guy that has carried that title and made it relevant. Adam Cole is the guy to bring back relevancy to the TNT title. He's got the Undisputed Boys around him. We know that the group as a whole together creates magic, so only great things are going to happen. By the way, loved the match. Thought Garcia was great in this one. It's unfortunate what happened to Garcia in this run because it just didn't seem to click. But I think there are big things on the horizon for this title. So tell me a little bit how you felt about Adam Cole defeating Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, again, another solid match, and it over-exceeded my expectations for the match, at least. I thought it was, okay, cool, it's on the card, I'm excited. I don't watch Collision that much. If I do, it's me checking back in Sunday after and just seeing highlights.
Same.
And it's been really tough because Garcia's been paired with trios and everything with that title just kind of in the background.
Yep.
The title hasn't meant shit. And I'm glad it is getting a new look. Again, I would like to see them on Dynamite because that is your primetime slot. I get it. Collision, Saturday Collision. You want to have your own titles there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Collision does not have the legs to carry a title. A title will die there because people don't watch. But what I did like was from last night when the Undisputed Kingdom just kind of all said, tag titles would be pretty nice too, right? So I don't know if that means ROH tag titles, whoever the fuck has those.
Who knows?
I really hope it's not those titles, but if it's for the Hurt Syndicate, Hurt Syndicate and Undisputed Kingdom would be amazing. Hey, and with MJF, it makes sense with Adam Cole.
Oh, yeah. Now you're connecting some dots, Ian. The wheels are turning up there, and I like it. And I also love what the Hurt Syndicate are doing. I just didn't feel like adding them to the thing because we all assumed they were going to retain those titles. But I am thoroughly enjoying their story with MJF because MJF can make any story interesting and entertaining. But going back to this match itself, very excited for what could happen for this championship because, let's be real, most of the titles in AEW are kind of just props. They don't really have much meaning behind them. He is going to make this title prestigious, and I can't wait to see what Adam Cole and his group can do, which, by the way, I think they renamed themselves in that promo. I don't know if you caught that.
I did not hear that.
Yeah. I heard it, but I don't think they're the Undisputed Kingdom. I don't even know what they are anymore. I think they've changed their name
The
again.
Disputed Kingdom.
Yeah. And the TNT title has felt like filler, except for Christian Cage. Yeah, I guess that's fair, Eric. The Sons of Texas, Sammy and Dustin Rhodes are
right.
Is that what they're called? The Sons of Texas?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That is horrible. What?
Yeah.
Should we just be called the Sons of Indiana podcast? So bad. So bad. Kind likes Adam Cole, baby. Who doesn't like Adam Cole? I guess I shouldn't have said that because this guy probably doesn't.
MJF.
This guy probably doesn't like him either.
That is true.
Great Brown Hope. That seems like a Great Brown Hope guy he would not like. Kind's still going. He said Adam Cole will make the title great again, and he renamed it to Paragon. That's what it was. Yeah, Paragon is what he said. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, definitely not great. Great Brown Hope said, I believe Dustin Rhodes used a similar name in TNA. Okay.
Texas?
The son of Texas. Texas.
The son of Texas.
Two more things to talk about from Dynasty. Man, how great was this match, Ian? Kenny Omega, Speedball Mike Bailey, Ricochet. For me, match of the night. It made my match of the year list. And it was a longer one too, Ian, but I still was fully invested from start to finish. Tell me how you felt.
Throughout the entire match, again, we kind of laid it out in our predictions that we would set up the Speedball versus Ricochet feud coming out of it with Omega retaining, which did happen, and it seems like we're on the horizon for Ricochet Speedball. I think it was like a 30-minute match or something like that, 35 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
And I was locked in. I didn't realize it was going that long when I was watching.
Right.
It was incredibly entertaining. It wasn't all just athletic stuff. We had the bald slaps, which hilarious. We had the crane kick. I mean, it's fun because it's not in your face like, okay, what the fuck are they doing? It's more of, okay, this is cool. I like this.
Well, and it wasn't a spot fest either. Like, a lot of people like to use that phrase when they talk about AEW matches. Oh, they're just doing choreographed flips and shit. It's spot fest. No, everything made sense in this match.
Yeah, and another thing, too, was the beginning of the match. My favorite part was it was Omega and Speedball going at each other, and Ricochet kept trying to get himself into the match, and they just kept throwing him over the rope. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was. They had a lot of fun spots in that match, and I think everybody comes out of that match looking strong, regardless of who actually ate the pinfall, because we talked about it on the Mixer, the potential of Speedball versus Ricochet going forward, and I saw some criticism about the signing of Speedball Mike Bailey. He's too small. He just doesn't fit in. He proved it right here, because Kenny Omega, in ring-wise, in my opinion, is a top 10 wrestler of all time. And if you can hang with Kenny Omega and Ricochet, you can hang with anyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, let's talk about this, though, briefly before we get to the main event. And I'll let you talk about it. You love Anthony Bowen, so tell me about how you felt.
Okay, first off, I'm going to get this off my chest. I think I texted you something about the Bowens return. I think it was like his theme song, and you just gave me a thumbs up for a reply.
It was okay.
That hurt me. I love Anthony Bowens, mainly because he's a baseball player. It was pretty cool to see him being a wrestler and a baseball player. But anyway.
And he's a good dude.
And he's a really good dude. So, yeah, this return was awesome. I completely forgot about Bowens even being in the prediction to be that surprise entrant. Yeah, so I love the look of it. The 5-star or 5-tool player, that's a baseball term in WWE or in wrestling, so that little tie-in's really fun. It tickles my baseball brain, so I'm excited to see what they do with him. I hope it's not just a little tiny push and then off to the abyss, because it's got steam. Anthony Bowens is extremely charismatic. He's got star potential, and he's really good in the ring. Like, very underrated.
Yeah, that's a great word to describe it. That's how I was going to say, is that I think Anthony Bowens is just simply underrated and overlooked. And maybe he won't be anymore going forward, especially after that repackage. But Kai said this was the first Speedball match he's ever watched, and wow, he was great. I'm excited to see him in the near future, which is pretty cool. You want to hear something cool, Kai?
Yeah.
We got to see him wrestle like right down the street from where we live. This dude has ran the indies. Yeah, this dude has ran the indies around us for a decade, I think.
That was Speedball versus Ethan Page, right?
I think you're right. I think we saw
that was
Speedball versus Ethan Page. We also saw Alex Shelley in a gym behind my favorite bar. That's crazy to think about. Like, Alex Shelley is going to wrestle for the tag team titles at WrestleMania, probably. And he was just at a bar behind, it's just insane. So good for them. Good for Speedball. Great match out of those three gentlemen. Let's get to the main event. Because recently AEW has had some questionable main events, or at least finishes to their main events. And Ian, I do have my complaints here. So I will let you go first. I'll let you give me your analysis on this one because I don't think you fully agree with what I'm about to say. So I will give you the floor first because I probably am going to go on a little bit of a rant.
That's fine. Going into this match, I liked the build, and I was vocal about it. I liked what they were doing with Swerve versus Moxley. I don't like the decision of not putting that title on Swerve, but I understand what, at least from a Swerve perspective, the Swerve that they gave us. And kind of that tie-in with Hangman, I'm kind of seeing the writing on the wall of what they're trying to do, which is, it's cool. It's finally getting to that point of AEW baby faces versus, like, they're starting to realize the Death Riders are a problem, which, again, my biggest criticism is, holy fuck, how long does it have to take? It's drawn on way too long. If this would have been a 3-month span, 2-month span, that would have probably been perfect. It would have been a great golden spot. But yeah, the Young Bucks' involvement, especially after last night, we had a little explanation with the Young Bucks just being pricks and, we could tomb together. That's your cop-out for it? I don't like that. There should be much more to this story other than, imagine us together. What? No.
And does that even make sense? Yeah, I was going to say, because the Young Bucks started AEW. They are the founders. Moxley and the Death Riders are trying to destroy AEW. Why would those two things coexist?
To be fair, if they threw a tie-in, because Moxley has said this with the whole Death Riders run of, what does AEW become? We have all these new people in here now. We've kind of forgot the meaning of AEW. If they tie that in, like you said, Young Bucks were the first to start AEW. They literally, if they weren't a thing, AEW is not a thing. If they kind of tied that in together, but I think it's too far past the point of kind of like a Revolution storyline.
Yeah.
Again, pun not intended, but yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. And their explanation as of right now is Young Bucks want to just team with them. What Makes the fuck? Sense. No. Yeah.
Eric's right. It makes zero sense what the Bucks are trying to explain about why they did it. And maybe we'll get further explanation and it'll make more sense in the coming weeks. But I still feel like that show happened on Sunday. You have a follow-up opportunity on Wednesday. You got to strike while the iron's hot, or at least tell us why. You can't just leave us questioning more things and hanging on, because then that's when people like us are going to talk negatively about your stuff, about what you did, because it's not making sense, and you haven't told us why it makes sense. And because, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just really quick, like, it's okay it doesn't make sense, but it's the fact it hasn't made sense for this fucking long is the issue. If things don't make sense, yes, like lay questions on the table. You don't have to answer every single question. If they want to come back to it, cool. But you need to have some fucking progression on the story, not just a babyface comes in, something happens to that babyface, and then he's just gone. He no longer has anything to do with the Death Riders.
Right.
That's what I hate. Again, I am at the stage, I'll let you talk. I'll let you have the floor after this. Just to summarize, I am at the stage of, I am pissed. You had me. You're right there. I was enjoying the Swerve and Moxley build. You've just lost all of my trust. I'm going to let it play out. I'm not going to bitch about it, but you lost a lot of my trust. So there you go. Fix it.
That's fair. No, that's a fair take, Ian. And I respect you for looking at it through those lenses. But I'm not going to get mad about this, because I've gotten mad about AEW before, and there's no point of doing so, because they're probably going to disappoint me again sometime in the near future. That might sound rude, but it's true, because these things still do happen. And I want to put this out there before I get into the match. I enjoy AEW. I'm not an AEW hater. I haven't missed an episode of Dynamite since the beginning of AEW. I'm there every week. I'm invested in most things that they are doing. They have great professional wrestling, but sometimes the dots just don't connect. And the Death Riders thing, it's a flop. It's a failure. Scrap it. It's not working. I do not like it. It makes no sense, like Ian is saying. The match itself, I'm not a big Jon Moxley guy to begin with. It was too slow for me personally. That's just me. I know some people might have liked it because it was supposed to be slow, methodical, and beating Swerve to a pulp. I get that. But then why do we have to turn this into a similar to a tribal combat situation where everybody and their mother is coming out, everybody's getting involved. Every single Death Riders match has some sort of interference. Can we switch things up? Can we get a steel cage match? Can we just do something different? And then you have Hangman Page come out, which I love him teasing that spot. That made a lot of sense. I love the possibility, as I think Eric even commented it, of Hangman and Swerve potentially teaming up against the Death Riders. I think that's money. That's great. But the ops are coming in. I know what you're doing. You're setting up your trios. It's just too cluttered of a main event, and it's taking the focus away from the two guys that it should be about. Swerve Strickland, who's trying to defend AEW and get that title back and showcase that title, and Jon Moxley, who still holds his fucking title in a briefcase. It just doesn't make sense to me, Ian. I tried not to get frustrated. I got mad there at the end. I'm sorry. But I respect these two guys. I enjoy AEW. But for the second pay-per-view in a row, they failed in the main event. They did. And that's just where I'm going to leave it at.
Yeah, I will say this. So the booking, it makes sense from if you want to build your heel. Like, it makes sense. Like you said, you why do you have so much interaction with the rest of the Death Riders interfering with the match, letting Moxley win? Yeah, that's what a heel does. Yes. Yeah, I know. But it can't keep happening over and over and over again when you already have a crowd that hates the storyline and hates the feud. That's not good hate. It's to the point of like, okay, I'm fucking tired of this hate. I don't know. This was the match. This was the big match that it was like, finally, we're going to get some momentum shift in it. And it didn't happen. And it's the fact that the Young Bucks, the explanation after, it doesn't make any sense. It didn't progress anything. Now we just have more questions that we have to wait through an answer. Yeah, I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, but overall, man, I still give the pay-per-view a B+. Like, going into it, we knew it wasn't supposed to be a main pay-per-view for AEW, but it still had its moments. It had its bad moments, obviously, but a couple of good matches, a couple of great matches, and I was sports entertained. Ian, what letter grade would you give AEW Dynasty?
It would probably be a B+ for me, like 89, 88. Every single match was really good. Like, there were no duds. I mean, even
I think there was two
the Jericho
duds.
match. Even the Jericho match, the ending kind of sucked. It didn't ruin the match. It didn't ruin that for me. I still enjoyed the match. That weird ending in the middle just kind of, okay, forget about that. Band-Aid was champ. Cool.
Yeah.
It didn't ruin the wrestling for me, but yeah, B+ in that range.
I think the reasoning was good. Kind says it would have. I think if the reasoning was good, it would have been made up for. But the main event was meh. The result was bad, and the reasoning was even worse. Eric says, "I love Swerve saying it's officially buck hunting season." Yes, Swerve, for the love of God, please destroy the Young Bucks and put us out of our misery, or my misery. I know Ian's a big fan of the Young Bucks, but that's all AEW we're going to talk about. We still got to talk about some brand new matches lined up for WrestleMania 41. We, Ian, are only 9 days away from night one of WrestleMania, which is crazy to think about. And the matchup that we have talked about probably for months, I think I even called my shot probably 2 months ago that this was going to become a triple threat and that people were freaking out when it wasn't labeled a triple threat. Well, here it is. It's happening. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. Tell me how you felt about the build, because I thought that their promo segment on Monday Night Raw this week was very good, because to me, at least, Ian, the story is mainly about Io Sky and proving that she is a credible champion.
Yeah, this build has been okay. It's been okay for me. Again, I'm not a huge Io fan necessarily. Again, I love to watch her in the ring. Her character's okay to me, but that's probably what's drawing me away from this feud. But I like what they're doing with Bianca and Rhea. I really enjoy that character development that they're going through. I don't know. This Monday's promo, I actually kind of differed. It felt kind of like the same that we've already seen. It felt like kind of a deja vu segment to me.
Oh, it was.
Okay. I didn't know if that was just me feeling that way, but
it was.
Again, probably just because I'm not a giant EO fan.
Would you agree with what Kyne's saying? You can read it off too if you want.
Yeah, Kyne said lots of the build-up for this has been meh. Some didn't make sense. It's all made sense. Also, the build was on and off. The last promo was fire, but Io seems to be the focus. They better not have her lose.
She ain't losing, brother.
I don't know, man. There's so many underdog kind of stories that they're going with that I think those are the winners of those underdog stories. How many underdogs are you going to have win on the match?
I don't know. Tune in next week, Wednesday at I don't know what time, by the way. Which, by the way, we didn't even mention that. WrestleMania preview show, one of the biggest shows for OTM on the calendar, is happening next Wednesday. Tuck will be here. Tuck has been gone for a month. He's coaching, so it's going to be great to get Tuck back. And our former co-host, Erica Marini, will be joining the show. So it's going to be a 4-person rotation going on for WrestleMania. Probably going to talk a long time next week. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. But Kine goes on to say they should have just left it as Rhea versus Bianca. Io didn't need to win it, and when she did, there should have been a DQ. I disagree with this. Because if you did Rhea versus Bianca, that match between those two needed more of a build, more time to build it. There was not enough time to properly build Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Because let's be real, Ian, I think Rhea and Bianca are 1 and 2 right now in the WWE. Those are your biggest faces right there. Let that breathe. Let that develop. Getting Io involved here is just to make her as credible as Bianca and Rhea. It's to create new stars. And you could make a difference, or you could make a case, I should say, that Io already is a star. I think it could be a star-making performance at WrestleMania because look at what Rhea and Bianca have accomplished. That would be a huge win.
Yeah, and not even just that. It's the fact that, like you said, this is a perfect. She's not a complete star yet. I mean, look at me. I'm not a huge Io fan. Like I'm waiting for that moment for her to click with me, but it just still hasn't. I like what they're doing with it. I like the underdog kind of telling of it. Also, she's the only true babyface out of these three. The crowd needs an actual babyface to go into the match. You can't have two tweeners going after each other. I think you kind of say that Bianca's a full-on heel now.
No, not yet.
Rhea, would you say?
No, not yet either, but...
So you still got two tweeners. You need that solid babyface.
Have you seen the discourse online of people getting mad that fans are booing Bianca Belair?
No, I don't.
Why are you getting mad? Once again, this is not about race. Have you been paying attention to the Bianca Belair that we have been seeing on screen? We are getting NXT Bianca Belair, who was a heel, people. You're supposed to boo heels, right, Ian?
No.
Oh. Well, that's it for the OTM this week.
No, I genuinely have given up on looking at wrestling Twitter, so
People are making it about race. It's not about that, guys. It just isn't. It's because Rhea and Bianca are kind of being bitches. And I mean that in a respectful manner because that's the character that they are portraying on TV. Regardless, that match is official, as is this one, which Eric asks a good question, and I think it's a fair one. But we now know for the Intercontinental Championship, it'll be Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Cero Miedo Penta making the WrestleMania card. And then Eric goes on to say, what did Dom and Finn do to earn this IC title match? I don't know the order, but somebody explained it, and I think it was on the Wrestling Junkies podcast, Ian, that they all have a win against somebody else in this match. Like, somebody has beaten somebody, and they've all just crossed streams, basically. So that's why we're doing this match.
crossing streams here on OTM. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how they got there either. I've just kind of accepted it because I like it.
Fun.
I'm a sucker for Final Fours. Also that.
Yeah, Final Four is great.
But Fatal Four Ways are always awesome, especially when you kind of have Dom and Finn. Like, there's a story there already. Yeah, it's... And you get to showcase Braun and Penta. I mean, fuck. Sign me up for this match. This, I'm going to call it now, could be match of the night.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. It's like a lot of people could shit on it, but the build kind of does make sense. I mean, the Judgment Day have their own thing going on, like you said, between Dom and Finn. There's been dissension there for months. Also, Dom's been trying to recruit Penta to be a part of the Judgment Day. So there's that layer in this as well. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Penta has defeated Braun Breaker. Don't quote me on that, but they maybe have had a match, or they tagged together. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They tagged together before. I think it was Penta and Braun versus Dom and Finn. So that's kind of how we got to this situation. But man, even though it's kind of thrown together last minute, like you said, Ian, I'm kind of excited for it, right? And I think there's a chance for any one of these guys to win.
Yeah, this is one of those matches. I mean, I'm just excited because I am really looking forward to the match. And just in general, from the wrestling perspective, only thing I'm upset about, no Sheamus. I really wish Sheamus was in here somehow.
Yeah.
The fact they haven't said anything about his Grand Slam this year, like, that's the last title he needs for the Grand Slam. So, I mean, I'm going to just say it'll be the SummerSlam show.
Maybe.
But again, where's that push for Sheamus right now? Yeah,
Look at what he just tweeted. He's available, guys. Sheamus isn't on the card. And we could go down a list of people like so-and-so's not on the card, they're not on the card. Not everybody's going to get on the card, but that name, surprising, isn't it? Sheamus.
Yeah, I mean, even Chad Gable didn't get on it.
Oh, that's right. God, you almost got me there. I almost reacted to it, but no, kayfabe's still alive, brother. Kite said this is the match of the night. It's going to be incredible. 4 stars. All are great. Dom screws Finn for the win. Ooh. Eric says, rest in peace, Carlito. Dude, that spear by Braun Breaker, that might be the greatest spear of all time.
Somebody compared what Braun Breaker has done to what Brock Lesnar was doing when he was a rookie. Like, incredible, like, never before seen athletics. And we're in today's wrestling world, and we're still like, what the fuck is going on with this Braun Breaker guy?
He's an anomaly. There is no one like Braun Breaker. And like Vogus said, Braun's going to spear Dom into another dimension at WrestleMania.
I'll just say it now. Braun's not losing that match. I know we're supposed to save our picks for next week.
No, that's fine.
Braun's not losing that match.
You can tease a few, and I'll tease it even more. I disagree.
Okay, yeah, well, that's fair.
It's going to be one of the other 3. Who will be? Ooh, find out next week. In London, Braun speared Penta, then JD won after hitting a coup de grace on Penta. Okay, so that's what I was thinking of. And he said Sheamus gets the Grand Slam at Road to Clash of Paris. Oh, I forgot they're doing Clash in Paris. So that could be where he does it. And like he said, there's a Raw and SmackDown in Dublin. There it is.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I'll accept it.
Kind says, Chad Gable being screwed again, has a great year and misses out. Maybe he should leave the WWE. Yeah, maybe we will see Chad Gable in AEW, but instead, Rey Mysterio is going to be facing off against the greatest luchador in American history, El Grande Americano. Ian, this is another thing people are complaining about, but apparently people hate fun because I've enjoyed El Grande Americano, and I think this match is going to be fucking fantastic.
Yeah, this is one of those where it's like, wrestling can be fun. It's okay. I'm enjoying it because it's super fucking entertaining. I mean, we were cheering on Otis at one point.
Yeah. Maximum male models. I can name weird gimmicks for days.
This is fun. We're having fun. It's okay. This is professional wrestling. Sorry, sports entertainment.
Oh, but they said Golf of America. That's the point, to piss you off.
God, I'm having fun. I don't care.
I love it.
I'm happy they've gone this route because the whole LWO thing is just a endless pool of like, okay, why do I need to care?
That's fair.
At least we're bringing some fun into it now, and it's entertaining. And Ray is playing the part perfectly.
I was going to say, and at least we got Rey Mysterio on the card. Because let's be real, even at the age that he's at, he deserves to be on every single major PLE, in my opinion. I think he's doing great stuff. Kind says, we all know it ends with Ray unmasking El Grande, right? It's still going to be a banger, and it's going to end with that. I agree with Kind.
El Grande can't wrestle anymore then.
That's fine. But El Grande Americano has never lost a match at WrestleMania.
That's true. That is very true. Good point. He's had a long come up, though.
Yeah, and shout out to Kind and Eric, by the way, just holding down the fucking chat tonight. Absolutely appreciate you guys. Full disclosure, it's between you two for the MVM, which, by the way, Ian, put that in the comments real quick. We gotta discuss that in between talking about these matches. But Kind says this match is perfect, fun, and it's a good match. It's gonna be good. He said that twice. But it's also fun. Okay. You just repeated yourself twice there, Kai. I'm not going to read off that comment because I had an aneurysm a little bit there. And I probably will agree with you in that private chat. But there is one more matchup that was just made official today. And it's once again another match I think we expected to be made official. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Two great wrestlers. Two great guys. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, former world champions. I just don't care.
I'm glad you said it because I also don't care. I've been very critical over Priest's character. Drew McIntyre had a fucking awesome year.
We saw him last Friday.
Yeah, yeah. Tell that story.
No, you go ahead and tell it.
I wasn't there, so that'd be weird.
Oh, I thought you were there. That's on me. That's a botch. It's a botch. It's what happens when we get to hour. Sorry, Ryan Vogus. You were with me because Vogus gifted me those tickets for free. We literally were just walking around the stadium, killing time, looking for a pizza line. And then right when we're going to line up for pizza, I see this big Scottish man with an eye patch. I'm like literally right in front of me, just walk right by. And I'm like, that's Drew McIntyre. Just right in front of me in the Allstate Arena. I'm like, well, how does this happen? But he was leaving. He must have pre-taped that segment. I'm sorry, Vogus. It's been a long day. Cut me some slack. If anything, that should be a compliment because I put you guys on the same playing field. You're both one of my best friends. You're both my best friends.
If you told Vogus he's anything like me, you're done for.
I'm talking about in my friend rankings. I'm not saying you guys are like each other. You're different people. Don't get me in trouble with Ryan Vogus. This dude's huge. Okay. In Liv and Raquel versus the Battle Royal winner tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be Bayley and Lyra, probably. Why is your women's mid-card champion in the tag scene, Ian?
They could have done very well with that mid-card title and gave it...
Roxanne!
Yeah. I saw your clips with NXT Night Shift there. I agree with you. I didn't even know what they were doing with her on NXT. And you said they have her tag teaming?
Dude, she's trying to get into Stand and Deliver. The fact that Roxanne Perez, who was our NXT Superstar of the Year last year, she didn't win the vote, but she was ours, is fighting to get on the Stand and Deliver card.
You know what this reminds me of? Again, I'm going to bring it back to baseball terms. Apparently, that's my theme for this episode. She's giving the Wander Franco approach right now.
No, don't compare.
Wait, okay.
Hold on.
Hear me out.
No, don't hear him out.
For those that know, they know.
I'm not going into detail on that. One last thing, since we got a couple more minutes to kill some time, why not? I think it was Eric that brought up the comment. Let me find it. Do you think Randy Orton gets a replacement? If so, who? And if not, tell me what you think Randy Orton's doing.
Yeah, he's getting a replacement. I don't think we're going to find out till Mania. It'll be a surprise entrant. Have him go out to the ring. Okay, where's my opponent? That's all you got to do. I mean, you had that with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. I don't know who it is. I would like to see Nick Aldis, personally. I think that would be cool. My thing is, I don't think that would be that big of a pop.
Well, let me tell you the story that I think they're probably going to tell here. And as much as I agree with you, I would love to see Nick Aldis, get into a match, but I think Nick Aldis will not be medically cleared to compete. And then that's how you set up that match. And he's like, no, you're going to find out at WrestleMania.
I like that.
Lights go out. Everything fades to black. It's Aleister Black returning to face off against Randy Orton. It could be Rusev, too.
I think the Rusev one makes more sense to me.
It does. I agree.
Aleister Black, yes, I would be more excited for an Aleister Black one, but Rusev makes more sense to me.
But like Vogus said, though, getting the Mania Aleister Black entrance. Yeah. But then you could do the Rusev entrance where he comes out in a fucking tank again. Rusev Putria! Rusev Machka!
What was the oh god, he was tag team partners with him and he would sing him to the entrance.
Rusev Day!
Yeah. Starts off with that. Oh, Aiden English, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Oh, dude, then everybody's going to boo Randy in that match. Nobody's going to cheer against Rusev.
Hold on, I got to figure out what Aiden English is doing.
I think he's a commentator for TNA. Okay. Don't quote me on that. And Eric said, what if it's too sweet, Kyle? Hey, you know what? I've been in the gym lately. I don't think I can hang with Randy Orton. He'd punt my head off my head. So that ain't going to happen. Tomorrow Nick could say he wants to face Orton. Then he announces he's unable to. Yeah, and then that's basically what I said, Kynes. Thanks for reiterating it once again. I know it's or late in the afternoon, night, whatever you want to call it. What brand do you see Rusev and Aleister going to? I see Black going to SmackDown, and I see Rusev going to Raw. Because Black's got Zelina on SmackDown.
You got to keep Aleister Black away from the Wyatt Six. I know the Wyatt Six are nowhere to be found, but
that's why you got to bring him over there. I think you bring
Wyatt
Six wife is.
Yeah, but Wyatt Six, I don't think they need anything more. They have, I mean, obviously the injuries are kind of plaguing them right now.
They need to come back. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't. I think if Aleister Black joins that, you're completely eclipsing Bo Dallas.
That's fair. I mean, I get where you're coming from there, but I'm just looking at it from kayfabe. Selena's married to Aleister in real life. They're going to travel together. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot. One more comment rolling in. Motherfucker, I commented that prior to you said, okay, that's on me, kind. It really hasn't been that long of a show, but it's been a fun show. I've enjoyed this for sure, but as you can see behind us, it's at that point where we have to figure out who the MVM of OTM is. Woo! 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 It was between two guys. I said it already. Ryan Vogus, though, popped us. I mean, if there was the pop of the night, Ryan Vogus would get the pop of the night. But it's not all about the pop. It's about the consistency and the quality. And ladies and gentlemen, it was a two-man race. But this man just barely edged out a victory because we have an new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. It's last year's MVM of the year. It's Kind.
Congratulations. Again, I don't know where Kind and I don't know what inning we're in with our feud, but he's been nice to me recently, which has been cool.
Fourth inning then.
Oh, fourth.
Because the turn's coming.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually, but yeah.
Big pop guy, Ryan Vogus.
Yeah, the off-camera pop was fantastic, which will not be discussed on this show.
I was going to say that. And speaking of pop, make sure you support your local Jewel Osco and get yourself some Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. Free
rain.
Plug.
And rain.
And rain.
Buy him by the case from me.
I buy the Monsters by the case. You buy the Rain by the case. We both will be dead by the age of 50. So that's when this show will end because we ain't fucking leaving, people. Get used to our faces, especially next week because, Ian, I don't think they've heard the news. How many mixers are going on next week?
Well, there would be 3 next
Not
week.
one. Not 2.
Not 2, but 3.
3.
See in my hand over here? I got 3.
Yeah. And you're going to be there when?
Saturday, not for Friday, because I don't know what's going on in NXT. That would be an awkward one.
I still don't think you're going to be there on Saturday because I might be with you on Saturday.
Why am I dragged out of my plans?
I'm saying I might be at Brett's is what I am saying.
Yeah, so I just join the podcast and then head on over after.
Okay, I'm just producing. But by the way, guys, Main Event Mixers popping large next weekend, as well as our show going down on Wednesday. The time is still TBD, so make sure you're following us at Pond on the Mark on all the socials. Ian, we currently sit at 422 subscribers, so let me steal a line from our friends over at the Wrestling Junkies. Ian, what is that magic number? How many people should they tell?
Well, like my dad says, just tell one person about the podcast. You know what I do? I'll break away from what my dad says. Wherever you go on a daily basis, wear a wrestling shirt. That's what I do. I go to the gym. I started wearing wrestling shirts. I have met about almost 10 people that just come up to me and say, hey, love the shirt. And then I go, heard of this podcast? It's OTM podcast. And get a little bit of a follow, talk to them for a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes about how bad WWE is and how good AEW is. And it's awesome. You don't have to include that last part. But yeah, just wear a wrestling shirt. We all have them.
Dirk, we just said it, bud. Wednesday. It's happening next Wednesday. We'll be joined by Tucky and Marini. Time TBD, so stay tuned on our socials for updates on that. And speaking of merch, guys, we have merch available. But if you want to save some money, you can wait until next weekend because you're going to save 10% by using code MANIA. Go to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. Support the OTM boys and the Main Event Wrestling Network because we are popping large for WrestleMania week next week. The final episode before WrestleMania is in the books. Let me know, Dirk. You know what, Dirk? I'm going to keep saying it. Look it up. I love you, Dirk. I'm just being an asshole because that's who I am at heart. But thank you all for listening. Like I said, catch us live next Wednesday and catch us on a Main Event Mixer. You see the socials right there. And we will talk to you next time. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Podcast.